Hi, everybody. So I am here with Gail Ehlers and Wendy Fashion from the Empowerment Factory. Gail is the founder of the Empowerment Factory, and Wendy is a huge supporter and advocate and teacher at the Empowerment Factory. And so we are doing a fundraiser for the Empowerment Factory. 25% of the retail sales will go to the organization. Also, anybody who decides to host in their home a Pure Haven gathering will also benefit the organization. Or if anybody decides that they're so moved by what they hear about Pure Haven that they'd like to join as a consultant or a wholesale buyer, money will be contributed to the organization as well. So we have a lot of ways that you can get involved and support the organization. So Gail, can you please share with us a little bit about how you decided to start this wonderful organization and what your vision is moving forward that you'd like to see happen?
Well, thank you so much, Beth, for making this, setting your intention to bring awareness and prosperity through this event, and to my dear friend Wendy Fashion for connecting us and all that she does on a regular basis to help bring this vision into reality as it grows. The Empowerment Factory was founded in 2014, and I have a degree from Rhode Island School of Design as an artist. And I was introduced to neurolinguistic programming. And when those two things merged, I think now they would call that social emotional learning. And it's really being aware. And when I met Wendy, we started working with children, and that was early in 2015. And it has been an amazing voyage, and we have served over 4,600 children in Rhode Island, concentrating on working with Title I schools from the urban core. And our programs focus on creativity, self-esteem, literacy, and environmental education.
That is such a beautiful mission to be working on because I think
Mm.
it's it's obviously such an underserved segment of society, and the benefits to these kids to be learning about just um, how to be happier, more fulfilled people, human beings, but
Yeah.
also learning about the environment and how to be good stewards of our
Mm.
planet is so crucial for everyone. And so it's really powerful and important work that you're doing. So thank you for all that you're doing. Wendy, how did you and Gail connect? How did you find out about the Empowerment Factory? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Gail's located in the Hope Artist Village. She was
Mhm.
actually the first artist, I believe, to take space in there years ago when it became an urban smart growth project. And
Mhm.
I was there for a farmer's market when they used to have the farmer's market there on a Saturday morning. And I
Yes.
just her doors were open and I wandered into that space, and the rest is history.
Oh my goodness. And so
Yeah, no,
it was fated. That
yeah,
was the
it was just, I don't
universe.
know. It was just,
Just
I loved her
yeah.
energy. I loved her
Mhm.
energy. And then
Absolutely.
the summer 2015, or just before the spring, I'm like, Gail, I go, you should be working with kids. I said, why don't you come teach with me this summer? And yeah, it just really, Gail's done some amazing things since then, since that first summer. She's just grown, and just so many creative ideas and so many kids that she's had an impact on. It's really been
Mm.
so much fun to watch it all happen and grow and spread.
Well, I would not say that you've just been watching, because you have been a steward, you have given guidance, you've been a valued teacher and a past board member. So you have provided so much to our community. And that's what the Empowerment Factory really is. I believe in the sisterhood of prosperity, about how everyone doesn't have to have everything, everyone doesn't have to know everything, and we all help each other. So we've got teachers, and we've got interns, and we've got youth workforce kids, and we've got volunteers, and we are all working together to serve children, to help them change the trajectory of their life so that they can be happier, healthier people and
Mhm.
learn how to make better choices and feel connected and loved. And because all love starts with self-love, and then it can reflect out into the world. And I'm just blessed to have wonderful people who have been part of this voyage, because it has not been me alone. I may have been the founder, but I am just um, the person who is planting the seed for the future, because it is definitely so many people who have come together to help. And that's one of the beautiful things.
But we're
Well,
all
I
pulled
think
into
you
the
need to.
vortex of your energy.
I was going to
We really
say, I
are.
think you need to take credit for the
Yeah,
fact that you've attracted all of these fabulous people
exactly.
into
Yeah.
your life. So that's pretty important. So can you tell us, Wendy, a little bit about, because you reached out to me about wanting to do a fundraiser
Being
around
recorded.
vernal pools.
Mhm.
Can you share a little bit about that art
Sure.
project that you're working on?
Yes. So Gail and I, we've been doing a nature drawing. Well, she started with a nature drawing program last summer, and then this spring we kind of took the nature drawing program to the next level with endangered species from all over the world. And then we thought, well, why don't we do something more, closer to home, Rhode Island animals?
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up partnering with Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management, actually their Fish and Wildlife Division. And they helped guide us to put together the first program, which is vernal pools, but we'd like to, we have in mind other programs to follow
Mm-hmm.
that, taking different habitats of Rhode Island, and then just kind of working our way through those. So this summer we started with vernal pools, and that was based on the people at Fish and Wildlife, Mary Gannon and her people, their recommendation. And so we chose 6-7 animals that we could teach the kids to draw in the kind of the same format we've been using with endangered species.
Mm-hmm.
And then because we're focusing on a particular habitat, vernal pools, the kids are learning all about that and about the animals and how they interact, the whole ecosystem, how it works together. And vernal pools, for people who might not know, they're temporary. They're vernal means spring, so they're full in the spring, but then they'll dry up by midsummer, and then they may start to fill back up with the rains in the fall and freeze over through the winter. But there are no fish in a vernal pool because it's not like a river runs through it. It's a pool that dries up and disappears and then comes back again. And so there's amphibian species and other species as well that breed in that pool because they don't have the fish as predators. It's very important for them to have that safe environment. So the kids are learning all about these different animals, and all 6-7 that we're teaching about are what you call species of greatest conservation concern here in Rhode Island. So they're species that need our attention. So the reason for doing this fundraiser is, well, we've got this vernal pool unit, but we want to go on to ponds and rivers and other units. So we need to have the funds to do that development and to produce the activity books, get the art supplies, compensate the teachers we have working on. So we get RISD students to come in and help teach the classes. They're fantastic. Really talented kids, and it's been great to be able to have RISD involved with us in that manner. It's a lot of collaboration, a lot of different people coming together.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I will say that part of the reason I think that Wendy reached out to me with Pure Haven is she knows that one of the things that I care deeply about is, the toxins that are going into our environment. And so that's something that I educate on was when we talk about going non-toxic and having safe products, just making sure that we're thinking about it very holistically, because sometimes I think people think about themselves and they think about the products that are going on them, but then they don't think, well, what happens when I'm washing this shampoo down the drain? They're
Mhm.
not thinking about the consequences of that, or they're not thinking about, I just got back from a trip to Florida, and my family loves going to Disney World. So we were at Disney World for a few days, and we would walk through the parking lot, and the spraying on of the sunscreen as you're walking through the parking lot, and all that propane and butane that's going into these little children, but also it's falling to the ground because you're spraying it on, right? And then it's getting washed away in the rain. So it's really, and I don't know if you guys saw the latest information about several sunscreens have been recalled by the FDA for
Mhm.
avabenzene and oxybenzone, and yeah, so it's definitely an issue. Um, so I'm going to share a little bit about Pure Haven and what we do. And if you ladies want to jump in and share, please feel free to, this can be a discussion. It doesn't need to be just a static presentation. I think you are both wonderful women who have a lot to contribute. So I'd be happy to have you contribute during this and not just sit and listen. All right. So I'm actually going to start on the next. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about Pure Haven. We have been around for 11 years now. Um, we started in Rhode Island. We're manufactured still in Rhode Island in Johnston, and a
Woohoo!
yeah,
Mhm.
in a UST organic facility. I love the fact that we're made right here in Rhode Island, and that I've been able to go to the manufacturing facilities several times. If you use cable and you have on demand available, there's actually a movie that's on demand right now, a documentary called Pretty Toxic. And it has to do with this whole issue of toxins in our everyday products. And Pure Haven is featured. And when the documentarian met our CEO, Bruce Jensen, she said, I'd really love to come and see your manufacturing facility. And he said, of course, and threw the doors wide open and took her around for a really comprehensive tour. And then she shares that she would call him in frustration because she would try to get into, Johnson and Johnson to see how they manufacture things. And that was not about to happen. So, I think the integrity that shows with this company, the fact that the CEO was willing to bring a documentarian in and just say, yeah, of course, hop right in, come look at all of exactly what we're doing.
That's so wonderful. What was the name of that documentary again?
It's called Pretty Toxic.
I wrote that down. Okay, good. To
Pretty
check that out.
Toxic. That
And yeah,
sounds wonderful. And I
yeah.
love, I being a person who, as an artist, was a maker, made in America, made in Rhode Island, very important,
Yeah.
because the more you can support manufacturing, local manufacturing, and purchase from local companies, it's proven that the money stays right in your
Yes.
community. And
Right.
so purchasing from a local company is really close to my heart, and something that I think is
Hmm.
very important. So that is another
Absolutely.
reason why I think Pure Haven is a good company.
For sure. All right. So, when I am doing this presentation, typically, I will meet people who have no idea, are like I was 11 years ago, honestly, where I thought that I was buying safe products for my family because I thought that the FDA was really had some regulations on what we were purchasing. And so I thought as long as something sort of had pretty green leaves on it and it looked like it was safe, that of course it's safe because the FDA must be sort of watching what's going on. And I was really horrified when I found out that, the FDA really does not have very stringent guidelines at all for what's going into our products. In fact, there are only 12 ingredients that are banned in America from our health and beauty product industry. Over in Europe, there are close to 1,400. So we're really behind on our
Wow.
Oh my
legislation.
Right.
goodness.
That's
Yeah,
a
That's
dramatic
extreme.
difference.
yeah. So this statistic was pretty staggering to me when I first got started with my business. The fact that there are 168 toxic chemicals on average every day that women are exposed to before they even leave their house in the morning. The babies being born with 200 industrial chemicals. The Environmental Working Group actually did a study on this back in, I don't remember what year it was, but they did an umbilical cord study. And up until that point, most people thought that umbilical cords sort of protected the baby from toxins. But now they're finding that really it's just transmitting everything that the mother is exposed to right to the baby. And so we're really sort of pre-polluting our kids and not really thinking about what we're doing. So lots of times what happens is moms get very into research when they're pregnant with their children and they start understanding this whole message, but they're looking at when the baby's born, what they're going to do for the baby. But we all know that most moms are going to do better for their children than they do for themselves. So the moms aren't really thinking about what they're putting on their own bodies. They're thinking about what am I going to use to wash my baby with. Um, So this just sort of gives you an idea of what the difference is between, Pure Haven and conventional products. And I always like to start with the water, which is interesting because, we're talking about doing a fundraiser that revolves around artwork that's created about spaces that are water. And so Wendy and I had talked a lot about what happens to products when we wash them down the drain, but also when I look at this slide, I think it's really sort of I'm supposed to tell you all about cyclohexysiloxane and why that's bad, and butylene glycol and why that's bad. But I want you to notice that um, Pure Haven products start with aloe as a base. Conventional products start with water as a base. And so you're paying for mostly water lots of times with products. Our products are a lot more concentrated, which means that you use less of them, which is really a nice benefit. And the other thing about water as the first ingredient is with conventional products, you don't know what's in that water. With our products, when we do have water in our products, it's reverse osmosis treated in our manufacturing facility. And so they really make sure that it's incredibly clean before they put it into a product. And I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago when Honest Company sold, they started manufacturing in China. Actually, I think even before they sold, they were manufacturing in China. And so one of the criticisms was, you have these products that you're putting water into, and we all know the state of China's water and
Yeah.
what's going on over
God.
there. So,
Oh my God.
just something to think about when you're choosing products.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, well, I just learned something that I didn't know about Pure Haven. That's wonderful.
good. So lots of times I'll have people say to me, well, it's just this hair styling product that has a really bad ingredient in it, or it's just this shampoo that has a really bad ingredient, or it's just this, um, you know, foot cream that has this bad ingredient. But we're creating this body burden by layering all these products on top of each other. And we don't really think about all of the ingredients that are going into all of the products. So that's one thing that I like to share with people is, yeah, there may be only one bad ingredient in your shampoo, but what about your toothpaste, and what about your deodorant, and what about, so you want to sort of think holistically about all of your products and switching out. And that's why we called the fundraiser Ditch and Switch. because we want to think about really changing over to safer alternatives. And I have actually worked with people before who will say to me, I don't know where to start. And can you look at this product and tell me if this is okay? And I'm pretty honest with people when they say to me, you know, I'll get private messages when I'm doing a party and they'll say, can you tell me if these ingredients are okay? And we'll kind of walk through it together, and I'll tell them, give them sort of an honest assessment of what I think. So definitely, you know, sort of think about that whole picture, not just like, oh, well, this one product only has 3 toxins in it. It's the buildup of all the toxins. And I always like to share with people, I have a lot of cancer survivors on my team, and a lot of them know for certain that it was environmentally caused cancer. It was not genetic. So 90% of cancer is environmental and only 10% is genetic, which is a pretty staggering statistic.
That's why we got to clean up the environment.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right?
So it's not just cancer. We've also seen other rates go up. Since 2000, we've seen Alzheimer's go up 123%. Breast cancer diagnosis is up 150% since 1960. The autism rate, I always like to say I don't really like this number because I think it's a little misleading. They did change the criteria for the diagnosis, so it broadened the criteria, but even still, like, before they changed before they changed what the definition of autism was, the numbers were still going up at staggering rates. So, you know, we really are seeing sort of across the board all of these environmental impacts on disease implications. So the $1 million question, ladies, and I'm sure most people have this when they start hearing about this. And I know Wendy is super well educated on this issue, so she has already delved into this a lot. But the $1 million question that I get asked all the time is why? You know, why are companies making these products that they know aren't safe? And the first reason is they're cheaper. It's cheaper to put in, you know, a bunch of fillers that are chemicals. The second reason is that toxins make products last longer. So I always like to compare our products to a beautiful bread that you would buy at a bakery, and then you look at a regular a conventional product and think of it like Wonder Bread. If you leave Wonder Bread sitting out on the counter for a week, it's still going to be soft and fluffy, and it's still going to not have mold on it. But if you leave a beautiful French baguette that you bought at a bakery out on the counter for a week, it's not going to be looking or tasting too good anymore. So there's a lot that companies want to be manufacturing huge mass batches of products that last a long time. Another reason is that US regulations don't require toxic chemical testing for personal or home care products. So that's, you know, it's being allowed to be gotten away with. I mentioned earlier the fact that Europe has close to 1,400 chemicals that are banned. All of the products that we buy in America, or many of the conventional products that we can buy in America, are sold in Europe. Well, that means that American companies know how to make them safer. They just don't.
So question, Beth.
Yes.
So if I buy something Pure Haven, it's going to last quite a while, but it's probably going to have a shorter shelf life. Like if I buy sunscreen, it may have a shorter shelf life than if I buy Hawaiian Tropic or some brand name. Correct. Or how does that work? So
one of the things that I love about Pure Haven is that every single product that you ever buy from Pure Haven is going to have an expiration date on it. So that is really helpful in that, you know, if you're buying the the Hawaiian tropics, you could pull it out after 5 years and it would probably still have its
Yes.
efficacy. Whereas with Pure Haven, we make it in small batches and we make sure it's really fresh when it's going to the consumer, and we put an expiration date on it so you know when it's not going to be any good anymore.
Okay, I know like mine, though I just received some sunscreen and it's gonna last me. I mean, it's the expiration date isn't for like 2 years. So I mean, I'm gonna use it up before then. I'm not,
Yeah.
Whatever. But
Sometimes the expiration dates are closer in. I find for sunscreen, because we cycle through so much of it at this time of year, and they sort of have a really good handle on how far out it, they know how much they're selling this time of year versus the rest of the year. So I feel like I usually get really long expiration dates. Some of the products that we don't sell as much of, you might get one that's closer in.
okay.
But there'll be products that are used more year round anyway. So you would go through it faster. So one of the things that's been really something that's come to light more recently, definitely since I started doing this, I was not hearing anything 11 years ago when I started my business about your gut and gut health. Like, just starting to hear stuff about it, people drinking kombucha, taking pre and probiotics to have a healthier gut. What I didn't know at that point in time and have learned since is that it's not just your gut that has a microbiome. Your skin has something called your acid mantle that is also a microbiome. And if you think about what your gut the importance of the bacteria in your gut is, it serves all kinds of functions. Well, the bacteria on our skin does a lot of these really amazing things as well, such as helping to prevent sun damage. It helps to fight off pathogens. So you want to make sure that when you're buying skincare, you're thinking about keeping that microbiome nice and healthy to do its job. And so one of the things that I love about Pure Haven skincare is that we have pre and probiotics in our skincare. So we really have this revolutionary skincare line, and it's where a lot of people typically start with Pure Haven. They start with our skincare set. If they're not interested in the whole non-toxic piece of it, they just see the results. Our skincare works so well. People go, oh my gosh, look at those before and after pictures. And they just want the products because they work great. And sometimes I'll have consultants on my team get really upset about that. They say, oh, she just doesn't understand. And I say, but if she's buying the products because she wants beautiful skin, and now she's not washing, some toxic product down the drain, haven't you done your job? So I'm really happy about that we have these amazing products that help keep your microbiome nice and healthy. So I'm just going to skip over this a little bit because this is really just talking more about your microbiome and making sure that you're keeping it healthy. But I want to talk a little bit about Pure Haven and what sets us apart. We adhere to a really strict ingredient sourcing procedure and manufacture our products, as I mentioned, in a USDA certified organic facility in small batches. So they're delivered to you fresh. We have a Pure Protect proprietary preservation system. Try saying that 10 times fast. And that is basically, we are the only company that's really doing a preservation system that's completely natural very well. So we use things like radish root filtrate as a preservative in our products. So with our unique combination of Pure Protect and ingredients specifically chosen to protect your skin, Pure Haven delivers peace of mind with every product without any compromises. We were featured in Forbes and also on Kathy Ireland. So that's kind of a really cool little notch on our belt that we got recognized in those publications and places. And as I mentioned, the Pretty Toxic documentary, I'm sure will be added to this presentation. Prebiotics, they are a super moisturizer, counteract the damaging effects of toxic preservatives on the skin, and they support the skin to reduce the signs of aging. And probiotics, we use the same enzymes that are used to make yogurt in our probiotics. And again, because we don't use any toxic preservation systems, our pre and probiotics in our skincare line actually work because they're not being killed off by those harsh toxic chemicals that are used in most preservation systems. So how do you get started with Pure Haven? As I mentioned, a lot of people want to get started with our skincare set. So the skincare set gets you 7 pieces total. It removes 135 total toxins for $149 and makes you become part of our preferred club program. So this is our non-toxic skincare bundle. Here's some of those before and afters that I talked about. There's also some in the group that you all are in. Wendy, you joined our preferred club program when you purchased. You did it with a custom bundle. You didn't do it with our skincare system.
I kind of wish I did now that I've been watching all your posts on our group page.
Well, that's okay, because the really wonderful thing about being a member of the preferred club is that you actually get free shipping for life on all orders of $70 or more. So if you decide, at some point you say, okay, I've tried all these other products that I wanted to try out, and now I'm ready to try the skincare, you actually get free shipping because you are a member of that preferred club program, which is really nice. And then this is sort of another starting point that a lot of people like stepping into our preferred club program with. Again, Wendy created her own custom bundle. As long as your order hits $149, which you can see both of those price points, the skincare and the lifestyle bundle were $149. You get free shipping for life on all orders of $70 or more. I call this lifestyle bundle our greatest hits pack because it sort of has a smattering of everybody's favorites. That comfort oil, I don't know what I would do without it. And the Master Blaster is incredible. Deodorant, sort of where a lot of people like to start. And then we have our ultimate non-toxic bundle, which is both of those combined. So you can't really go wrong. You have a choice to decide what kind of products you want to be choosing for your family. For a lot of people, when I'm doing this presentation, I say now that you know better, you can do better. So if you want to make a safer choice and switch over your family, this is a great way of doing it. So you can use the products, again, 25% of all orders of all the retail go to the Empowerment Factory. You can host. You can host, and for everybody who hosts either virtually or in person, I'm happy to come do an in-person gathering. They're really fun. I will donate $25 to the Empowerment Factory when you say, hey, I decided to host because I want to be part of the Empowerment Factory fundraiser. I will donate $25 to the Empowerment Factory. Or if you decide that you'd like to join the company and get a 30% discount moving forward, if you want to share, you can. Then we also are going to give a $25 donation to the Empowerment Factory. So that is how everything works. I hope this was informative. I loved doing this with the two of you. It was just a joy and a pleasure to be getting to give this presentation with you ladies.
Yeah, no, this has been really very educational. And, I just want to emphasize that, non-toxic products, whatever you're washing down the drain, whether it's washing down into the sewer system and going out, through the treatment plant into the ocean, treatment plants don't pull chemicals out of the water. They're there to treat the bacteria, the poop, that kind of thing. And if you have a septic system, if you have a septic system, you've got water going out through the leachy field and into the groundwater. And so the chemicals can get out into the environment and the vernal pools and so forth that way. So, the more we can all do to use less toxic chemicals, non-toxic chemicals in our household, for whether it's our household cleaning products or our personal care, our baby products, super, all this stuff is just so super important.
Yeah.
So,
and I actually do have a vernal pool in my backyard. I have a pond in the front of the house and a pond in the back of the house. There's a stream that runs beautifully all spring, and when it's really rainy, and then it just completely dries up. So we have that in our backyard, and it is really important when you live in these areas where the water is being super affected by where you live, and we have septic. So it's really important. So yeah, I 100% agree.
Well, I want to thank you, Beth, for your generosity of reaching out to the Empowerment Factory, because the Empowerment Factory's programs speak a lot about connecting people and our connection to the earth and being happier, healthier people. So I think it's very much in alignment with Pure Haven's mission and intention about having happier, healthier lives. And I am more educated about the things that are in our water and the things that are happening. And as we develop the environmental education curriculum that we're using every day, and Wendy is definitely an amazing source of knowledge. It just gets more and more important that people are cognizant of how connected we are to the earth and each other, and how we all need to be stewards for that earth. And through education of bringing that awareness, it's very important. And I can say personally that I've used Pure Haven products, the shampoo. I love it because I felt like, oh, well, I've never heard of this, or maybe I had, but I've just been too busy. And so it's a lovely discovery. It's a quality product, and I believe in that. And I think that I don't use toothpaste with fluoride in it for a reason, and that's an example that might be more common than what all the other fancy ingredients that you hear and see.
So two products that are always sort of gateway products. I know Wendy and I have talked a lot about sunscreen and bug spray because it's that time of year, but I think the two gateway products are toothpaste and deodorant are the two that I hear the most. I'm looking for a fluoride-free deodorant, and I'm looking for a
aluminum free
deodorant and fluoride free toothpaste.
Yeah.
For me, the fluoride free toothpaste was really important for people who have history of breast cancer in their family. The aluminum free deodorant becomes very important. I got involved with this because I have a son with Tourette's, and it's a neurological disorder. So I started really delving into all of the neurotoxins that were in all of the conventional products in my home. And fluoride is a neurotoxin. So for me, that was really crucial to sort of switch out all of those products with neurotoxins in them. But there's so many products with carcinogens in them, not just aluminum, but all kinds of carcinogens, oxybenzone and avobenzene being the most recent in the news, but there are a lot of other carcinogens that are out there too. And endocrine disruptors are a huge category as well. So important to change what we're doing, because as Wendy so beautifully pointed out, those wastewater treatment plants were not set up for this
Right.
purpose.
Oh, I just
And
want to
they
mention on your
don't do it.
website, on the Pure Haven website, there is a list of ingredients
Mhm.
to avoid.
Yes.
So if people are wondering, it's going, gosh, and they're running to their cupboards to pull out their shampoo and
Yeah.
then they
Right.
look at it and they go, well, I don't know when they look at the ingredients,
Right.
right?
What
You can
is
go to the Pure Haven
Haiden
website.
Toyne? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Wendy. That's a wonderful shout out to the website. Yeah. It is by no means a complete list, but I kind of think it's sort of the heavy hitters. It's the ones you see the most.
Mhm.
When people ask my opinion on a product, the ingredient that always sets off a red flag for me immediately before I look at anything else is fragrance, because synthetic fragrance is not an ingredient. Synthetic fragrance is a way to hide trade secrets, and it can literally hide hundreds of chemicals in that one word fragrance that don't have to be disclosed.
Oh
And
my
that's a
goodness.
yeah.
mhm,
Did you never knew that, Gail?
I did not.
Yeah,
I did not.
yeah.
it's a
From
lot
like
of
1935, I think, way back,
1938.
something like
Yep,
that.
1938,
Wow.
and it has
Or
not
38,
seen
okay.
any major reform since
Oh
1938.
my God. Well, I'm glad that I use a lot of unscented products.
So I would challenge you to go look at your unscented products, because a lot of times when you flip it over, an unscented product will still say fragrance, because they use masking fragrances to make it not smell like anything. And that was something that I didn't know either when I first got started with Pure Haven. I thought, well, I'm so sensitive to fragrance. I use unscented products, so my products are probably fine. And I started flipping it over and seeing fragrance on all of these unscented products.
Wow. Well, I thank you for this voyage of education on how we can proactively put better products in our bodies and on our bodies so we can be happier, healthier people.
Yeah, and thank you for all you are doing. And this is it's a wonderful collaboration, and I'm so thrilled to be part of it. And I'm going to share this on my social media as well, and hopefully help you guys spread your message. So thanks so
Thank you
much,
for
ladies.
everything, Beth. This has been
Thank,
fantastic.
thank you, Beth. You can find out more information about the Empowerment Factory at empowermentfactory.org. And we're on
Perfect.
social media, on Instagram, on Facebook. So we welcome your support, and thank you so much for your advocacy, Beth
Oh,
and Wendy.
Wonderful.
And maybe we want to mention, so if people want to give to the Empowerment Factory, they have to put a special number, right?
Oh, that's true.
On their order.
Oh,
The
okay.
party-
Yes,
the
let's
party ID
talk
number.
about that. Yes, I will do that in this video so that we can share that information. If
point.
you are wanting, great call, Wendy, because I was thinking, oh, well, we're doing this into our group, but we may have people watching someplace else. So let's
Yeah.
share that information.
So not
If
everybody's
you
on
go-
Facebook, so but you can pull
Right.
them into YouTube.
If I had known, I would have written it on a piece of paper and held it up.
That's okay. I can probably add that in afterwards. So if you go to purehaven.com/Beth Newberry, and that's BETHNEWBERRY, and then you put in number 287433 at checkout, that is the Empowerment Factory fundraiser. So the number again is 287433.
Write
Thanks
that
for
down.
pointing that
Yeah.
out, Wendy. Great call.
Thank
And
you.
I will see if I can add that to the end of this video before I get it to you guys. But for when I share it on, it'll be good to have that in here. So thanks, ladies. Have a great night.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Take care, everybody.
Thank you so much.